the significator of art, poetry, painting, music and dance. Venus is our muse in life, our sense of the beloved that draws out our creative expression. Venus indicates our sensitivity, refinement and gentleness. And so, of course, it's so important to understand the standing of Venus in your birth chart, in your destiny. And we do need to realise also that there's a lower possible manifestation of Venus. Now, the lower Venus is vain, superficial and affected. Here, loveliness is mere show and exhibition. Lower Venus demands that we get pleased. Lower Venus demands pleasure. Lower Venus is the narcissist. Negative Venus becomes the pleasure that dissipates, exhausts, debilitates, the self-indulgence that destroys us and our life path. Lower Venus is the seducer who drains away our fire and ruins our positive will in this life. Venus and Mars are enemies in Vedic astrology. So, in connecting to the divine dimensions of Venus, we must each seek the deepest and true nature of our love. The deepest and true nature of our love. And not accept an image of glamour for it. Not accept a relationship diminished by lies, diminished by negative scripts. The divine dimension of Venus in our life is a relationship that needs to be worked at so as to become healed. And it's so important too to have a good idea of what our individual Venus scripts and issues are, and what to do about our negative Venus issues, how to deal with these many various life area facets that our good or bad Venus energies create and affect. How do you express and embody your Venus energies as a life fate issue or at a particular time phase in your life, including, of course, Venus Retrograde period? It's so important for our life's success that we can express our Venus energies fully, that we can learn to identify our blocks to love and our other Venus issues by doing this, and find the healing that may be so necessary. It's so important to learn about the really negative Venus scripts that we may have. Now, my combination of Western and Vedic astrology reveals all this, and it's also linked to healing possibilities. We can learn so much. Such blocks in our personal destiny showing up in our chart as a destiny to be healed. Well, just as a tiny few examples, these Venus blocks include, in our chart, birth chart, Saturn conjunct Venus, Chiron conjunct Venus, Venus transiting the sign of Virgo, Venus in Virgo in your natal chart, Lilith in conjunct or opposition aspect or square aspect of Venus, Venus retrograde in our birth chart, and many more. And such blocks appearing from time to time in the heavens definitely include a retrograde Venus period. But it's super important to hear if you have Venus in one of the 3 Gandanta zones in your birth chart. It's super important to know if Venus is transiting one of the 3 Gandanta zones at a particular time, as it is now at the time of filming. All of our challenging Venus destinies and transits, we need to learn how to identify them and how to heal them. It's so useful, so essential to know what your personal Venus scripts are generally in this lifetime as a destiny. And certainly I find that an additional method is use of the Varga charts of Vedic astrology, and also past life readings and healings can be so very healing and empowering of your Venus. And of course it's so essential to know what that destiny is and how to work with it, how to heal it where healing is needed, how to maximize it, how to change it. It's amazing what my combination of both Vedic and Western astrology can offer you in here. As I said, I've learned to offer so much by moving Chiron and Lilith. Chiron, our existential wound. Lilith, our shadow side in our unconscious, including our wild side. Moving Chiron and Lilith into the Vedic divisional charts called Varga charts, each of which states something so very special about a particular area of our life. And when I first did this in my own case, the results were so eye-opening, so valid, so useful to hear, so useful so that I could deal with them and heal them. Past life issues do play a role in our destiny in this life. In fact, we incarnate to work with them. So see the wonderful panel of healers and astrologers on my Love Star Dating website, the different healing methods, including past life readings and healings that they offer. We all of us need to work out what to do about our individual expression of our Venus energies, especially when a negative Venus life script becomes obvious to us. And we especially need to work out what to do about the expression of our Venus energies when Venus in the heavens is in troubled times, such as Venus Retrograde period, Venus transiting the Gandantas, or Venus transiting Vedic Virgo. These are obvious troubled times for Venus energies. And indeed they prevail at the time of the making of this video and blog post. During a Venus retrograde phase, retrograde Venus will create confusion in our mind, build up doubts and aggravations in love, in a way that we are in essence called to confront them, to recognize them and to heal them. A Venus retrograde period can also make us make inappropriate or wrong plans in relationship, in professional and financial decisions. These can be compromised in a Venus retrograde period. You shouldn't quite so easily trust your judgment at a Venus retrograde time. And be aware that any aggression could so very easily backfire and harm your love relationship at this time. During a Venus retrograde transit, retrograde Venus will bring many challenges and setbacks in the area of your life. And areas of your life could therefore be left in confusion and possibly in deception. So at the time of Venus retrograde periods, beware taking a wrong direction that could backfire. You might not be able to adequately identify the areas of the challenges. And as a special important little detail to know, be careful of the Venus stationary periods. This is when Venus is completing a direct motion and about to turn retrograde, or when Venus is completing a retrograde motion and about to turn direct. Those are particularly important to sort of have in your diary, have in your awareness, and watch very carefully what's going on in matters of love and finance and so on, all the Venus issues. And another particular individual issue is the shadow phases. Put these in your diary. So the shadow phases affect us as follows. Firstly, when Venus is transiting in a zone where he will be shortly retrograding. And secondly, the time when Venus has turned direct after a retrograde but has not yet reached his pre-retrogradation position in the heavens. So the average 44-day Venus retrograde phase is a call for each of us to be especially careful. Especially if you're one of those people for whom Venus is a ruling planet, such as people with a big Libra or Taurus emphasis in their charts. You know, ascendant sun or moon in Vedic Libra or Taurus. Or if you're one of those people who has a planet in a Venus-ruled nakshatra. The nakshatras are the supremely wonderful 27-sign lunar zodiac of Vedic astrology. And it so accurately declares our life scripts, our predictive issues, our emotionally based consciousness and identity. You can get a reading from me, which always includes analysis of your nakshatras, or you can enroll on my nakshatras course. It's offered in the Star Wheel Astrology website, the link's in the accompanying blog and on the Star Wheel site. Now, if you're in Venus Dasha, or Venus Predictive Vedic period, that is, you'll be strongly affected when Venus is retrograde. Note importantly that the houses in your Vedic birth chart that Venus occupies or rules, those areas of your life for those which apply to those houses will be strongly affected during a Venus retrograde period. So I do hope this depiction of the blocks and the huge opportunities created for your challenge, learning and growth by your Venus retrograde period, any of them, will be of help and will lead to healing where that's needed. So please now go to my part 2 video and blog post, which is all about the dates and details of a very difficult Venus retrograde period happening around the time of writing and filming this post, namely July to November 2023. So you can get a reading from me from my Star Wheel Astrology website. The list is below in the video description and in the accompanying blog. And if you're on a spiritual pathway and seeking love, or wanting to increase the spiritual dimensions of your relationship, see my worldwide dating site, which is supported by a panel of astrologers and healers, Love Star Dating. And again, the links are provided in the description below the video and in the accompanying blog. So I do hope this exposition of what it means when Venus is retrograde will be of help to you. And I'm offering it really as a resource for the future as well. And of course, for background study, because we are coming up to an actual Venus retrograde period from the 22nd of July to September the 3rd, 2023. So all blessings and enlightenment. Thank you.